Thank you very much, everybody, for joining here today. This is Sauerkraut and Don in conversation today. And if you noticed, Sauerkraut's name goes first when we're talking about rock, guys. So if you're joining us from...
we're going to talk about that later, by the way.
Oh, no way. Anyways, if you're joining us from YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to follow down below, subscribe, do that thing. Apparently we don't ask enough for people to do that. So do that, follow us, follow along.
What the hell do they say now? Smash that button.
Smash that like button.
That's the new thing.
Yep. Stuff like that. If you're joining us on Facebook, let us know if it's working, because this is going to be the first time that we're doing it on Facebook. I'm not used to
all this social media stuff. How do you figure all that stuff out?
We see when you're under a certain age, all of a sudden it's automatically input into your brain. But when you're like 55 or older, it doesn't happen anymore. Sorry.
So you got to have a hairdo like you
got to have one of these cool hairdos with the nice coif in the front in order for that to work out properly.
Is that VO5 or is that actually a man's product?
No, this one is actually Redken, not a sponsor. Usually I use one that's called I can't remember what it's called, but it's for...
Yeah, that's a good product if you can't remember
No, but it's for vagabonds, ruffians.
It's time for us to shut up. Anyway, we got a great guest here.
Ruffians, and gentlemen, which I'm all of the above. But yes.
We do. We got
let's
a rock
introduce
icon here.
Our guest. It is Mr. Gunn of Hamilton, Ontario, is where he's originally from, but now joining us from Toronto. But he travels quite a bit, and he is a little bit of a legend in the rock industry. So Tommy Gunn, how are you?
How about a rock icon?
Man, great.
Good.
Great to be with you too, Sauerkraut and Don.
Yeah, thank you for having for coming on our show. Don and I do some research on our guests, and we were looking up some stuff on you, and we found right away, right off the hop, your father. Let's just get the cat out of the bag. Your father is Sonny Del Rio, and I'm looking at your bio and looking at some other stuff, people that you collaborated with, and I'm like, what the hell does this guy want to come on our show for? But thank you for being here. So Sonny Del Rio is your dad. What was it like growing up with a musician father?
Well, total rock and roll, I can tell you that.
Yes, yeah.
And by the way, the Niagara region, I have a lot of fans down there. That's why I came on your show, because a great bunch of people down there.
Right.
I have a lot of friends there. So
yeah. And we're belting out your songs. So once we get your songs, they're going into the auto DJ later on today. So we always have you on the show first, and then we throw them into the auto DJ. Once we throw them onto the auto DJ, the local station, who I call and harass all the time, they will start. They'll start picking you up, because they're like, "Oh, this guy's being played over there. That means he's made it. We're gonna put it over here." So you'll probably get a call from the St. Catharines station now. We will probably call the St. Catharines station and play a prank on them at some point.
Great.
In fact, I'll probably get you to like voice tag something and just say, guys, why don't you play Tommy Gunn on your show? Sauerkraut plays Tommy Gunn. Like, we just mess with them all the time. I literally give out their phone number and tell people that it's mine, and then I'll do something to piss them off. So then they call in, and then they yell at them thinking, so they're asking for sauerkraut.
Can't get better than when you phone in and ask for your messages.
Yeah. Hey guys, you got any messages?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm the joker, and I mess around. So yeah, you grew up with Sonny Del Rio as your dad.
Yeah, like legendary. He's the real icon. He's the real master, man, at songwriting and playing his sax, and also delivering a performance to entertain an audience. And I learned all that from my father. He's fabulous, probably one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
And also I've met a lot of really cool people through my father. So, the bagel story. Yeah.
Let's talk about the bagel story. I love that. Yeah. When I was reading that, stable diet of bagels, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but a lot of love and happiness in the music, man. That was pretty cool that you added that little touch in there, that, life was not always easy, but you know what, but life isn't easy, right, dude? And it's just the way it is.
I wrote a song on my first album called Life is Easy. The answer is love. So, that's what I'm all about, really, is the love, and, the love of people and friends and family, and fans. It doesn't get any better than that to me. I would rather look at an upside, positive side of things rather than the downside, but however, today, there's not much up, is there?
Well, I don't know about that. It's, we're living in this friggin' pandemic, but yeah, you're probably right. But, it has brought the music closer. A lot of people have turned back to the music because they've got a lot more time on their hands. And let's face it, you can only watch so many reruns of friggin' Seinfeld and Frasier.
Yeah. And plus the creative process. I've been very creative during this time, but I'm very isolated, and I feel like I'm a very social person. So that's hard to take, but being very creative, definitely. I wrote a new album. I wrote a book. So yeah, I've been very creative.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about the book, man. Like, what's in the book?
Yeah, the book is like me growing up in rock and roll. Basically, I have a title. I don't know. It's called "Who Gives a Fuck." I name names. And,
nice.
Both growing up in rock and roll, and what I've seen and what I've learned from what I could earliest memories till now. And so I'm going to release that probably with my new album. So I'm excited.
Sweet.
Yeah,
sweet.
I can't wait to get a copy of that and read it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. So send it to the station, and I'll send a copy to Don out in BC too. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, you also your dad isn't the only famous person in your family. From what I understand, you are related to the one and only Rod Stewart as well.
That's my mom's side.
Yeah.
My grandfather is cousins with Rod, so
right.
he's my cousin, like second removed, basically.
Okay.
I met Rod in Yorkville, in Toronto, and his son in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So he's just Rod Stewart. I mean, he's an icon, right?
Right. Yeah. No. That's the thing. Growing up, if once you get to meet him, and then you have that connection, that your family, stuff like that. That's actually pretty cool. To be able to meet somebody and have somebody in your family, even if you don't have like Sunday breakfast with him or anything like that. It's still pretty cool that you have that connection, right? Like I'm a huge Superman fan, and way back when. Well, that's the quaff. If I have to keep this all gelled, or else it comes down with like a little, right? So yeah, but no. So the long story short, I was actually we had the what's it called? The video or the movie festival here in Niagara Falls quite a few years ago, while Christopher Reeve was still alive. And I was dating a girl at the time whose father worked for the RCMP and was actually the security detail for Christopher Reeve. So he knew I had like a tattoo of Christopher Reeve, stuff like that, or not Christopher Reeve, of Superman rather. So he knew that
probably have a tattoo on your ass of him.
Hey.
Jesus.
Yeah, but
you walked into so many jokes.
I know.
There, man.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna be the butt end joke for a while. Yeah. But anyways, so he's like, listen. He asked if I knew anybody who liked Superman, and I told him about you. I said, oh yeah, that's cool. He's like, yeah, you have dinner with him tonight. I said, what? He says, yeah, before the premiere of it, or the release of the movie, or the airing of the movie, you have dinner with him tonight. And I said, oh, all right. And just sitting beside him and talking to him and stuff like that was totally crazy. At the time, I think I was like 17 years old. It was just before, he had passed as well, right? Because he had that horse accident and then ended up dying.
So when you met him, he was still walking?
No, he was in the wheelchair already. He was paralyzed at that point, right? And that's what didn't help. It deteriorated his health much faster because of the fact that he was, in the wheelchair type thing. So his quality of life went way down at that point, right? So But yeah, no, it's awesome that, you get those kind of
starting to wonder, like,
connections.
Are we doing a Superman show here or a
Hey,
Tommy
listen,
Gunn show here?
this is called In Conversation with Sauerkraut and Don Pierce. You just mind your business. No comments from the peanut gallery right now.
I noticed that we can't see your hands today. You're talking about Superman, so your hands are kind of.
There's two mics here today. If you noticed, I was trying something different, and so we have two separate mics coming through two separate systems, and things are a mess here anyway. So, but it doesn't matter how you're joining us. Thank you for joining us here today. So, Tommy Gunn, we're going to keep on going here with you. Let's talk about your new music. So you have some new stuff out.
Yes.
First off, you have some older stuff as well. You've been doing this for quite a while. And when, entertaining runs in your blood, runs in your family, obviously, some people. Let's talk about your new music. Let's talk about Love Conquers All. What's that song about, and when was it written? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, actually, the whole album is 35 minutes, and it's a start to finish listen. Because,
okay.
It goes from hate to love. And so I wrote a song called Haters, and it's before that. And then I have a little minute and 47, which takes you from hate to love. And that was Dale Harrison from the Headstones, my father, Sonny Del Rio, on sax, and Kevin Fox on cello. And they play an instrumental. It's minute 47, and it's beautiful. And it goes on, and then it goes into Love Conquers All. And love truly does conquer all.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
So Dale Henderson, for all those that are wondering, he's from the Headstones. He's the drummer for the Headstones, or was the drummer from the Headstones.
Dale Harrison, yeah.
Or Harrison, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, for 8 albums, 22 years. He was for the Headstones.
Yeah, so he's on that he's in this song as well. Is that correct? He helped with Love Conquers All.
He plays piano on this.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He also plays drums on the track, but he
very
plays
talented man
on a song called Sonny Foxdale, which is Sonny Fox, Kevin Fox,
right,
and Dale Harrison, Sonny Foxdale, and that takes you into Love Conquers All, which, by the way, I co-wrote that song with Greg Godovitz of Gatto.
Right, of Gatto, yeah.
We did it in 15 minutes in Larry Gowan's studio on Queen Street, and.
Oh, nice. So that's a lot of Canadian talent jammed into this one CD that you have, and this song too. Like I said, Gatto, it's I haven't heard of them for a while. Don't get me wrong, but I just remember that they had a big impact in the area too. Watching some of their videos online. Last night.
Back in my day, they were huge.
Huge, yeah.
They're Greg Godovitz was.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Greg Godovitz is or was, check him out online. You can go and Google Gatto, Goddo. So I kind of like equate them to like Metallica versus Elton John. Right, they got that. They're flamboyant. They're out there. They have the great music and great sound, though, right? And that's the thing. They're eclectic, I guess. I don't know if you want to use that word.
Well, I just think Gatto is Gatto. When you hear Gatto, you haven't heard anything like it.
Yeah. You know who's Gatto as soon as you hear the music, you know who it is.
Yeah.
That first song on The Act of Gatto, I think, is the best opening to a song ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like iconic. And then when the band comes in with the bright lights, if you've seen them live, it's like an incredible show. Gatto just played at the Phoenix a year and a half ago, I think.
Right.
Of course, we were there. My wife Amy and I, we were there.
Yeah.
And Greg's a genius. Like he's definitely a Canadian icon, and I was very fortunate and very grateful that he gave his time and wrote a great song with me.
Perfect. Now I'm going to actually play that song, and usually we don't do this through YouTube or Facebook, but we do have permission from the artist that we can play that song. We're going to play it live. Hopefully you can hear it. This is where we were having that little bit of an issue. We have a bridge that connects the two here, but this is Love Conquers All by Tommy Gunn. right here on accessradio.ca. Check us out there, but also if you're joining us from Facebook, anything like that, you should be able to hear it this time. And if you can't, let me know. But here we go.
Love is love and hate is hate. Knock it off, you know, before it's too late. You have your say and I have mine, as long as you can find the time. Love conquers all. Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? You voted it wrong and it went to be. Now look what's happening in the Middle East. Until they come down from the sky, it's up to us to know the how and why. Love conquers all. Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? If history taught us anything at all, there are no winners, big or small. It doesn't matter if you're straight or gay. You gotta love in your own way, yeah. You know love conquers all. Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? Love conquers all. Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? You know, love conquers all. Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? Love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Yeah, love conquers all. Is that enough? Or is it fuck all? Good night.
Yeah. I don't know. My daughter says she's rocking, so whatever that means. Well, I hate technology, but you know, in the music business, technology is where it's at today, man. It gets your music out there. You know, you can collaborate with other people and still put out a great album and, you know, be sitting right there on the couch and do your thing. You know what I mean? And still get some great quality shit out there and get your music out to the world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I found that to be the case. Although I do miss, you know, like mainstream radio. Like they don't play any new music hardly anymore. It's all 40 or 50 years old music.
Well, yeah. And that's the other problem.
That's the way it used to be, right? And that's
Well, it's because mainstream radio's they've kind of changed their whole look at things. They kind of go to pre-recorded shows where guys sit in a room and they, oh, this is, Taylor Swift, here we go. I pick on Taylor all the time. And there's no really live shows anymore, and everything's gone to syndication. It's Bobby Bones and, the rest of them out of LA, and they do their thing on 100 different radio stations. So doing what me and Sauerkraut do these days is pretty rare.
That's why I'm recording my next album in Los Angeles, because I want to release it there, and make it there.
Yeah.
Apparently there was an issue with that. So instead of me playing that song, because I was trying to bridge it through another thing altogether, instead of me playing that song, I'll input it after, if you're okay with that. I'll edit the video and put it on there. Would you be cool with that, Tommy?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, perfect. So you guys heard it here. He was good with that.
Hey, Tommy, I want to talk to you a little bit more about your book. That kind of interests me a little bit. Like, what can we expect in this book?
Just when I was growing up, the whole band, for an example, the whole band lived at our house for 9 months, while my dad's friends rented the house next door. So it was a real commune sort of, music and, laughter and, and put that away, Tommy's coming. Put that away, like this kind of shit, and
yeah.
And kids are smart. They see everything, because I saw everything, and I didn't know exactly what it was, but I saw everything. And of course, as I grew older, I realized what I had seen, and what I'd come
What
on.
a childhood that must have been. You got some of the biggest icons in Canadian music, and you're kind of, spreading the cream cheese on the everything bagel there. But the music in that house just must have been 24/7, and the collaboration and the inspiration in that house just must have been grand.
Well, it was a band called the Terranai Experiment. And they were called Earthborn first, and then back then there was a shampoo that I think VO5 or somebody put out called Earthborn. So they decided, well, we can't have that name; we have to change it. So they went with the Latin, which is Terranai, which means Earthborn, and the Terranai Experiment. And they recorded the album at my house, a demo, and created it and recorded it. So it took about 9 months for them to do it, and then they went on tour. And they didn't record that album until years later when they reunited, and it's on YouTube. There's songs on there. It's a real progressive rock, one song for the whole album, chants and everything. It's really, really cool, really ahead of their time, and great musicians like. Georgie Fab was in Terranai, and he co-wrote with Kim Mitchell and Lighthouse. I saw Lighthouse and Foot in Cold Water with Terranai at the Simcoe Arena.
Actually, I was just going to say, I had the pleasure of meeting Skip Prokop before he passed away. And if you don't know who Lighthouse is, look them up. But it's who they are. You're like, once you hear their first song, their hit, Sunny Days, then you'll be like, oh, those guys, yeah. And Skip and I actually had a little bit of a friendship. He moved out to Almer.
Skip told me if he had to do it over again, it'd be called the Skip Prokop Band, not Lighthouse.
Right, yeah. So he was bitter towards the end about a lot of things. So I got to sit down with Skip. This was totally unrelated to radio at the time, because I wasn't doing the radio thing yet. But I was sitting down and we were just having a conversation, talking, as friends. He moved to Almer, Ontario, which is just outside of St. Thomas. And he was talking like he got a little bit sick for a little while, and he couldn't go to all the shows and stuff like that. So Lighthouse essentially replaced him. They got a new guy to do the drumming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they continued to tour, and he didn't feel like he was getting his fair shake of the money. They were still paying him a royalty because he wrote the songs, but he didn't get the full shake that he would have got if he was touring. But again, you really can't tour. But then when he got better enough to actually tour, they didn't let him rejoin. And that's why he said if he had to do it again, he would have called it the Skip Prokop Band, just to go down that path, right? So,
well, Jamie Vernon, a friend of mine, he wrote the Encyclopedia of Canadian Rock and Roll.
right.
He also wrote a book, As Told To by Skip Prokop. It's the Prokop story. He just wrote it, just released it actually not too long ago. So, and that's a really cool read if you want to check out some.
Yeah, and I got to speak to Skip probably. This was probably about 6 or 7 months before he had passed away. That I actually spoke to him, and he was, like I said, he was very bitter about a lot of things that happened. I knew when I walked in the first time that I met him that he was somebody special. It didn't tell me, so I was sent to his house for a job. And it didn't tell me who it was. It just said Skip. It was the only name that I saw. But as soon as I walked in, I could see, guitars hanging everywhere in the house. And, you could tell that a musician lived there. And then I asked him, I said, are you Skip Prokop? Because he looked much different as he got older too, right?
Well, he was dying. So.
Yeah. So, but
nice, when I met him, his health wasn't that bad. It was at the Hamilton Music Awards, where I got to have a really great conversation with him. But yeah, he was a great guy and wrote some great songs, man. No question.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But again, goes down that whole, a lot of people didn't even know that Lighthouse was a Canadian band, and how do you not know that Lighthouse is Canadian? So.
Well, you know what? That's the whole problem with the whole Canadian music industry as a whole. We got a lot of, great rock icons that people don't even realize that they're Canadian. And, and there's something, like, do you think that, you say you're going to LA, do you think that the US market, Canadian market differ in a lot of ways?
Hugely. Yeah. And that is, there's 350 million people in the US and there's,
36 million in Canada.
There you go.
Tom Wilson said to me, well, you tour Canada and then what? Tour it again?
Yeah.
It's the same things where you could tour through the States so many times and not hit the same place twice,
Yeah. Well, that's true, because all the venues in Canada are going to be close to the border anyways. It's not like there's venues, spread out all over Canada. We are not very sparsely populated in Canada. Even though we are sparsely populated, we're not. We all kind of congregate close to the border, so you can only do so many. You
can only play at fucking Edmonton so many times, right? Before,
right? Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't pay off. But,
before you realize it's freaking Edmonton, right? So,
although I'm going to do it because I love Canada, but I can't wait to do the States. That is coming as soon as I can. I'm going there and recording a new album. But funny thing, to what you said earlier, Tommy Gunn is writing a country album.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, man. I've teamed
Let's
up.
talk. You got to fucking tell me about this.
Once you get it. Once you get it. So Don is our country DJ. So this is the premise of our show is we bring genres together. But Don is a country DJ. So when you get that, you'll have to release it to us first.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in the States, there's all them people. So you have the number one thing is hip hop. I mean, it's number one and no question. Number two is country. All right?
That's it.
Rock comes down, man. It's down there a little ways, So if I have to write a country album to get recognized for my rock music, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
I just want to do it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with the hip hop is there is a Tommy Gunn as well for hip hop, so you kind of can capitalize off of that as well.
Yeah, there's also a porn star. He's a friend of mine. Tom.
Yes, but he has a space between the Tommy and the gun.
Let's relate to the porn star. Let's get right into it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, I seen that you did the Naked News.
I was gonna get him into that. Yeah.
You mentioned Tommy Gunn and porn.
Also, Tommy Gunn, the boxer. But if you spell Tommy Gunn separately, 2 words, that's all that stuff comes up. But if you spell it the way I put it out there, all capitals, all one word.
Yeah, you do. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So always do Tommy Gunn, all capitals, all one word. But let's talk about the Naked News, because you did the Naked News, it was so you're married, and we'll talk about your wife after, because obviously she's a good sport. It looked like you were having trouble keeping eye contact.
No, I did that. This was before I met my wife.
Okay.
The Naked News, my cousin drove me there. His jaw was on the floor. No, I thought I handled myself quite well.
I thought you were very professional.
Yeah, actually, you were staring right at her eyes. You did not drop down below there, and when you weren't making eye contact, you were looking away.
I got to tell you, when I watched that interview the other day when we were preparing for this show, I got to be honest. I don't remember a frickin' word of the interview.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too, that I'm pretty sure that while Don was watching that, he wasn't keeping eye contact with that girl for sure.
Well, I sure wasn't watching Tommy. That's for sure.
Well, the reason I did that was because, and I remained professional, as you see.
Yes.
Yeah, you're very professional.
Because they have over 1 million viewers. So, that's why I did 1 million viewers. That's a great way to get your name on.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe you'll see Sauerkraut and Don Pierce on the Naked News sometime soon. And
yeah, well, my friend Jackie Childs hooked me up with that. She was on Naked News as a newscaster.
Hell, let's just do it now.
Hey, put that back on you, brother. Damn hair stud on the back of my head right there, right now.
You were getting the fight or flight. You were just getting ready to book it out of there, right? Shit, this guy taking a shirt.
I was out of the studio now. I'll see you later. I'm out of here. I'm going back where country music belongs.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Tommy Gunn, we got, now he's going to be an author, a rock icon now country. You know, what's next? The movies or what?
Yeah.
Oh, funny you should say that, but not me personally. I'm a music guy, but my wife is in feature film and television, and her whole family, and that's how I was able to meet some really fabulous people in Los Angeles, and now want to work with me. So, and iconic musicians too. So I'm really excited. I really want to get down there to do that. I'm just like, I can't tell you how excited I am.
Yeah, let's talk about your wife. I know we have a limited amount of time today, so because she needs the computer after our interview, so we need to cut this off by 10:55. I know we're on a tight schedule, so we'll talk about your wife, and then I want to talk about JCT 66.
The equipment.
Yeah. So your wife, her name is Amy, correct?
Yes, Amy Gold.
Okay, and she knows some famous people too, doesn't she?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've seen pictures of her with Gene Simmons, with some other people as well. But let's talk about her. So you said she's in TV?
She's in feature film and television. Yeah, like it started with her whole family are, and they work on. She has a twin brother who's a filmmaker and an older brother who's a filmmaker. And it started with Meatballs, and Amy was a writer on the Hangover movies. There's like 40 movies in between. And her twin brother wrote Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
Oh, nice.
These guys, Without a Paddle, these kind of movies. So they're well known, and her older brother Dan's just like, amazing fellow, beautiful human being, and great writer. Wrote Stripes, amongst
what has she been in that we might know, Tommy?
Hangover movies.
Yeah, what's one of your wife's movies that we might know?
Well, Amy was a writer.
Oh, she's a writer?
Yeah.
Writer producer, and she was a writer on the Hangover movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. I've wrote some movies myself too. They're all porn movies. It's very easy to write a porn movie. Not so easy to write an actual script, right? No, I'm kidding. Slightly. Anyway. Hopefully my wife's not watching now that I realize she does have access to my Facebook and YouTube, I guess. Yeah. Honey, I love you. I can't get away with too much because Don's niece is actually my wife. So he kind of keeps me in line, and if I say something, he rats me out all the time. So maybe I should change the show, just get rid of him altogether. No.
So that could be arranged.
Yeah. Well, probably be pretty easy too. Yeah. Anyways, what I want to talk to you now, let's because we are on a short period here, let's talk about JCT 66, because you wrote that with somebody else famous as well, but it has some sort of special meaning to it too. So let's get into that a little bit.
Sure. I co-wrote that song with a good friend of mine, Mike King. He's in a band called Company of Strangers. He played bass on all the songs on this album and co-produced it. So Mike really helped shape the whole album, and he's a great guy. And also who helped me with this song is, we all went to, this song is called Junction 66 because it's actually the initials of a friend of ours we all went to high school with, who was taken from us in 1989. So it was long overdue. And so we all came together, and Mike wrote the music, I wrote the lyrics, and Joey Varga of Varga helped shape the song as well. And he does backup as well as he does the high singing at the beginning. And Dan Field is on drums. He's in a band, he was in Varga, as well as now he's in a band called Svengali. So he is an amazing drummer. And
you might have heard of Svengali before, some of you out there.
For sure. Or Varga, for that matter. Varga.
Yeah, and Varga too, yes.
Varga warmed up for Metallica. But anyways, and Joey's a fabulous singer and a great guy, and so is Dan. And we all went to high school with Jeffrey Carl Thompson. And so that's what we came up with. And we thought Junction 66 like a road sign, because he liked to ride his bike, his Harley, and he liked metal. So that's why it's kind of a metal-y song. And I brought in Dan and Joey because they're both metal guys, really metal guys. And they taught me a little bit too in the studio. And, it was an amazing time. And I think the song is a killer song. And I think it's like old school metal, really. But, I just am very proud of that song.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we're gonna play that on air. We're gonna play it. If I edit this post, and we'll edit it after, and I'll put it in there as well, right here.
Too many stories
there you go. So that was JCT66.
Great, man. I told you, dig it or what?
Yeah,
I never even
that was
thought.
awesome. That was an awesome song. I love it. Actually, I've been listening to all of your songs because that's what I do. I'm a creep like that. But my job is this is not my full-time job. Let's not get that mixed up here.
Here's another thing about this album. I wrote a song on this album called Richard about King Biscuit Boy.
Right.
The most famous harmonica player, probably the best in the world at one point. And Eddie Kramer produced the song. And
yes.
Kramer did all Jimi Hendrix. He did 4 Led Zeppelin albums.
I was just going to say, Eddie Richards was pretty well known. In fact, the Beatles as well, correct? He produced them.
Just the one song, and Eddie Kramer. And I had a lot of guests on there. Galen Weston, he played guitar on there. Ian Andrews, my father on sax, and Eddie Kramer. I have video of him bowing at my father on sax. It's just fabulous. And I used 2 mics for that song, similar to what your setup is right there.
Right.
And that was really exciting to work with Eddie. I'll tell you, that was something else. And I think that song's great. It's a blues song. So this album goes over 4 genres, and there's a song on there called Gone that's possibly you'd like, Don. It's kind of a country feel to it. So I tried to cover all these things in the album so that when it went to release, which I released it, I'd have one in each genre, a song in each genre. So Tommy Gunn gets known even more.
Yeah. It's all about branding. And that's it. When you said Galen Weston, you're not talking about the Westons from the Real Canadian Superstore, are you?
Well, I think they're related somehow, but
okay.
He built his own studio, which he was so generous with me, and it was just an absolute pleasure recording there at his studio, the Red Rose Room.
Yes.
Room Studios. It's on Carlaw in Toronto, and it was like an amazing time, having all these people and different iconic musicians come in and help.
Yeah. Couldn't help but get inspiration.
Have you been to the Art House studio in Toronto?
No, I have not.
No, okay. Tom Wilson, I believe, has. He's with a charity that helps struggling actors and not actors. Musicians, yes. Thank you. And you can donate right from his Spotify page, and some of the other acts have been doing that now too, which is awesome. But they have a coffee brand that they worked with 3 different companies to make this coffee brand. And we have a show called Coffee with Sauerkraut, and we're trying to get them to sponsor us because if that's something that I could get behind, a portion of all the sales from this Art House Coffee is called, a portion of all the sales goes directly back to indie artists, and not just indie artists, just artists in general, especially during this time. The artists can't travel, right? So it's kind of crazy time for them, and so it's kind of, they have like this unemployment kind of thing set up for artists to help them out through this time. It's not a huge amount of money by any stretch of the imagination, but it's enough that they can maybe get by a little bit for the next little bit. So it's actually, what's that?
Tom's a great guy. I wrote Hounds of Hamilton. Tom,
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about Hounds of Hamilton, because that is a good song. You got a lot of people in there as well, right? So you got Tom Wilson. So for those who don't know who Tom Wilson is, he's from Junk House. He does a lot of side projects as well. He's got his own. He's got two. He's got one under a native name. I can't pronounce the name. I do apologize, but and he's got his own side project. He does a lot of art for natives, and so he's very passionate about the native culture, from what I see. So we're going to try to get him on the show too.
Yeah, that's because he just found out he is native.
Yes.
So that's why he's went back in his culture to find and discover him, where he came from and stuff.
He got arrested, didn't he, at a protest or something?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna let him talk about that stuff.
Wasn't that you that told me that?
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was trying to figure out where I got that from, but
you know, like the natives, you know, like I mean, like to me, I don't know, not to get political.
Yeah, well, let's get political. Let's do it.
I'd rather talk about, but I just think that there's a lot of injustices in this country that are soon to come to the table to be dealt with.
Well, you know what, I find it incredible. It's, you know, coming into 2021 that we can't, you know, I'm gonna just say it. We can't even fucking get these guys drinking water and housing, and we could send billions of fucking dollars to make sure other countries have clean drinking water, but we can't even provide it for our own people. Drives me up the frickin' wall. Sorry, no, I'm getting political, Tommy, but that is the one issue that drives me right up the wall.
It's disgusting, brother, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, sauerkraut.
No, hey. No, it is. We know that
drives me nuts.
There's one native reserve that I know of offhand. I can't think of the name, but anyways, it's up north, and they don't have clean drinking water. Trudeau said that he would get them clean drinking water. They just need to move the reserve. Well, they don't want to move the reserve. Why should they move the reserve? Well, because there's minerals on that reserve that the Canadian government wants. Why not just split with them? Here's
what you got to do. You just got to look in the dictionary under fucking moron, and you got Trudeau. Sorry, you know, like
he's more off than on.
Yes.
Yeah, you got that right, man. Like, I can't believe this guy, you know, like, and then to be proud of the fact, you know, that he wasted billions and billions of dollars trying to get that UN seat when that money could have been, you know, today. You know, they just left Thunder Bay, as we know, and they went back to the reserve, but they still don't have drinking water. You know, it just drives me nuts. Brantford, the city of Brantford, right down the road from where you are.
Yep.
You know, bloody reserves 12 kilometers from the city, and they can't get clean drinking water. Give me a break.
Well, let me tell you something about Brantford. No, let me tell you something about Brantford too. So, and not just Brantford in general. Sorry.
Here's something about Brantford. It's where the men are men and the sheep are nervous.
Yeah, well, no, that's Dunnville. That's Dunnville. But no, in Brantford, I was actually speaking with the fire chief in Brantford, or not in Brantford, sorry, on the reserve there, Oshweeken. Right. And he told me that you are more likely to die in a fire on reserve. And so there's a real issue there on reserve. Now, some of you will see Ontario Fire Prevention Services flashing. That's one of our sponsors. The reason why is that it takes a lot of them don't have working fire alarms, and if they do, it's still taking a long time for the fire department to get there. They don't have the hydrants in place, stuff like that. So it does take much longer, and your chances of actually surviving a fire are very, very low. Which is unfortunate.
We can talk about this till hair's going to come up on your end here, but he's got to go in about 4 minutes.
Yeah,
so
no, for
get
sure.
Going.
No, he's got 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Yeah. But that is very, very shocking statistics as well. So, you know, we often take advantage of or take for granted, you know, how easy it is for these things here off reserve, but on reserve, you got to think that they have some real issues that need to be dealt with too. And, you know, stuff that we should always be talking about that we don't necessarily worry about, right? So because it doesn't affect us, which is great that you know, that you get people like TOMMYGUNN involved with those issues too, those social issues. And we take on social issues here too. If you saw that mother that got fired, we went right after that group, right? So anyways, enough about that. Let's play let's play the Hounds of Hamilton real quick.
This one's going out to all you Hamilton hounds. Getting high. Now my old man, he plays rock and roll. I guess that's where I get my soul. Oh mama, she is off the chart. I guess that's where I get my heart. The place is full of all our friends. It's where it starts, where it ends. Yeah. It was 1957. Me and Red Suburns got into Winky's 32 Ford Roadster. It rode up to Clapson Corners. Hamilton, you gotta love this town. Hamilton, the place that made me round. Took off over the skyway as the moon crested up over the escarpment. I remember looking at Winky and saying, bitch, Sunny Del Rio. The place is full of all our friends. It's where it starts, where it ends. Yeah. I never seen a 32 Roadster go that fast. I didn't think it would clear the cliff, but it did. Cleared it completely over the treetops. Man, the cat must be doing 115 miles an hour. Landed on all four and kept going. The place is full of all our friends. It's where it starts, where it ends. Yeah. The place is full of all our friends. It's where it starts, where it ends. Yeah. Fish and chips and hutches.
Ah, that was awesome, wasn't it? Didn't you?
That was great.
You know, I tried to get that played at the Ticat Stadium there, Tim Hortons Field, and I'm not having too much luck.
You know what?
So far.
Okay. We could probably get that played for you. I know the guy that is one of the owners of the Steel City Patriots. We could get it played there. And then let's see, after that, we can maybe get it to the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Right. So because I mean, it's the Hounds, and they might love that.
Hey, we might be able to even get it to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nobody listens to them anyway.
Well,
hang on, easy. I'm a Leafs fan. Hang on.
geez, you're gonna really get all of our listeners to take up. We're like totally you trash Toronto, which is the highest population in all of Canada, and now.
No, wait a minute. I didn't trash Toronto at all. I trashed Toronto Maple Leafs, and you know as well as me as I do that I am a Toronto Maple Leaf fan.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. A little bit of making fun of your own team is never bad. Yep. All right, awesome.
It kind of makes the blues go away.
Yeah. So before we finish off here, just tell me, is there something that you want to talk about in specific?
What I didn't touch down on also on that song, Richard, Michael Weckerly plays harmonica on that song, and
right.
That's how Eddie Kramer came out to produce this song, was because of Michael Weckerly. And Michael Weckerly was on the Dragon's Den, and he also purchased the Alma Combo and sunk a ton of money into it. The place is just unbelievable, beautiful. It's, unbelievable. Honestly, it's something we have to see, even if it's just once. And so I'm going to do a live show at the Alma Combo in Toronto when I can, and when this all clears up.
Oh, nice.
That'd be cool, man. I've got to get into that. And when you do that, you got to let us know. So, you could give me some notice so I can get on an aeroplane and go catch that. Man, that would be great to, see you play there. Iconic place, iconic rock artist. That'd be cool, man, to catch your show, man. I'd love it. I may be the country DJ, but, I'm the guy that grew up with Poison and Kiss and all them fine relics of rock music that still
great. So I was going to try to get Gene Simmons on, and now you just called him a relic. See,
no, man. When you become a relic of, when I refer to relic of rock, that means that they still have this black thing that you could pull out of a cardboard case and say, you know what, this is what I've got. I've got an actual album here of Kiss, and I've just probably still have every album they've ever made. So there you go.
See, that was so brilliant, of Gene. And I met Gene and talked to him for 45 minutes in LA, and with a whole film crew around filming everything. He was making all these jokes and everything. And great guy, really, really wonderful man.
One of the smartest businessmen in rock and roll.
Genius. When he came up with the makeup, what he allowed that band to be was immortal. And, because it's all hidden behind the makeup, right? He can do that till he's, like 95 behind the makeup. He's Gene Simmons, you know what I mean? And
but the way he marketed himself and the band, and kept his portion of that band. Let's face it, Gene Simmons. When we talk about, if you mention Gene Simmons, you know who he is, and he is still out there in the limelight. Where Peter Criss and the rest, are kind of sunken away into the limelight. Where Gene is still front and forward and lets his presence known, right?
Yeah.
Paul Stanley as well. I met Paul as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you think of Kiss, you think of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, and then those other guys.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So those guys were good at marketing themselves, obviously, and then the other guys.
Well, you know what, Gene Simmons, like I say, he's got to be one of the most iconic rock stars
recognizable
in the world,
anyways,
one of the best businessmen to be able to take that brand and hang on to it for as long as he did. Smart man right here, man. Did not let anybody steal that from him.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Anyway, I'm back to you.
He's one of a kind.
Yeah. All right.
And so are you.
Yeah, so are you. Yeah. So while we're finishing off here, thank you guys very much for tuning in. We do have to let Tommy run. He would love to stay longer and chat with his fans and stuff like that. But again, he is just down the road in Toronto from us, so I have his contact information now. We're considered friends now. We're close. We're like this, right? Right, Tommy?
He's part of the family now, right?
He's part of the Access Radio family. He's going to be getting a lot more airplay in this area, so you watch for him. He's going to be huge, and we're going to help him grow this thing even more than what he already has. He is well aware of his star power, and thank you for joining us. Follow Tommy Gunn. We're going to try to put links to your stuff in the bottom in the description, so you can follow his stuff as well. We'll put it on our Facebook page. Share with us, and anything new that comes out, Tom, let us know. We'd like to accidentally leak stuff for you. So if you have like a set date where stuff's only allowed to come out on that set date, send it to us before that, and I'll accidentally play it on air just to let you know.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yes, always.
Yeah,
It's always
this
a good
is the
idea.
guy that leaked the AC/DC album 2 weeks before it was supposed to come out.
This guy leaked AC/DC before it was supposed to come out.
I have
2 weeks? No, it was 2 months before it was supposed to come out.
I have a friend down there in Niagara area who's on a mainstream sort of radio station. I guess it is mainstream. His name's Pat. Do you know Pat?
At which station is he from? You could say the name. I don't care.
Giant FM.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was going to say, go on, Andrew.
Yeah.
Like, holy.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. No, I know the guys over at Giant FM. Even KK actually. There's pictures of me and KK on my Facebook page. You could see there's me, Iron Mike, and KK together. So that's from another competing station in the Niagara region. But KK went over to Giant. But so the other competing station is 977, and those are the guys that I mess with and send all sorts of pranks and stuff like that. So
the Tommy gun stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what we're gonna do. So we'll run a contest where they have to call in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get you the phone number, Tommy, and I'm gonna get you to call them and say, hey, this is Tommy Gunn calling in because Sauerkraut said that there might be some messages on the machine for me. Okay,
you would do that too, man.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna fill up the machine with messages for Tommy Gunn. Don't you worry. We'll just mess with them because we did one thing. We did Wookiee calls. We had a contest for the best Wookiee calls. And all of a sudden their machine filled up with Wookiee calls, so they had to turn it into a bit for them. So that's good. And then we did a thing where people just called and complained about Sauerkraut because he was a jerk. Right?
Radio hates us.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's fun. It's all in good fun.
Well, you know what? When you got the #1 show across the, in 5 countries, you can pick on people. It's fun.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us here today. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, do all that stuff and everything else. The lingo that goes on, and
lingo and the bingo.
Yeah. Follow Tommy Gunn, and we're going to be exiting with some of his music here. I'll just pick out one of them randomly. It's that song that I'm playing. Thank you, Tommy, and we will see you guys. See you. Well, tomorrow I think is the last day of the week that we're working, and then Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and all that fun stuff. So we'll see you guys after. Happy holidays.
Take care, Tommy.
Merry
Thanks
Christmas.
for being here, man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all that. Good luck on the book and the good new album, man. I can't wait to read it, man. Send me a copy when it comes out. I definitely want to read it.
Definitely will.
Are you going to make me buy it on the fucking Amazon now?
All right, we're offline.
I'm going to do an edit and include you guys in the book. How about that?
There you go.
Oh, that would be great.
Just on the back page, I'd be happy with that. Even the front page would be good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Gunn!
Said life was easy was quite the fool. Always being fed with the silver spoon. Never knowing stresses of getting out of messes, and never having to freak out. Whoever said life is hard is someone you can trust.
Bye.